Good morning, everyone. This is absolutely breaking news. I have to share with you what was just reported on the Hill. This is apparently just like hot off the press 58 minutes ago. And why is this so important? It's important because Baron Coleman revealed on his podcast the other day that there was a website that was secured, a domain name that was secured after Charlie Kirk's assassination. And what was that domain name, you ask? That domain name was Kirk Vance 2028. And honestly, if I'm being honest with you guys, I thought, that's silly. There's no way Erika Kirk is going to be president. There's no way. So there had to be a mistake when they secured that domain name. Perhaps the timestamp was wrong. Perhaps they just did it so that no one else could, take that. But lo and behold and lo, I am wrong. So what happened? Erika Kirk has been appointed to the Air Force Academy Board, which is a Department of Defense academy. So when I saw this, you guys, my heart sank. And do you guys want to know why? Do you want to know why my heart sank? I don't even have my equipment. Like I have none of my microphone. The sound sounds so bad. This is my raw reaction to this. My heart sank because if you watched my episode yesterday, we talked about the sacrifice in exchange for power. I showed you a video of a woman, a young African woman saying, "Hey, you guys, in Africa, we know this is what happens. Okay. There are people for you to, um, that you go to and you ask them for things in exchange for power and money. You sacrifice your children or your wife or whatever." Erika Kirk has been appointed to the Air Force Academy Board. President Trump has appointed Erika Kirk, the widow of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, to the Air Force Academy's Board of Visitors, having her replace her husband. Comprising of 16 members, the Board of Visitors is responsible for making recommendations to the Defense Secretary for changes at the Air Force Academy. This board provides an annual report on the military's institutions' morale, financial state, and academics. Also on the board is Senator Markwayne Mullin, Trump's recent pick to be the next Secretary of Homeland Security, as well as Senators Tommy Tuberville and Kevin Cramer, Ted Budd, John Hickenlooper, among others. The board did not announce Erika Kirk's appointment, though her name now appears on the list of members. Asked as to when Erika Kirk had been named on the board, the White House did not say, only praising Trump as having made the perfect choice in appointing her. Why is this so important? Because we have speculated that, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. We have speculated that the reason why Charlie was killed is because he was sacrificed in order to take Turning Point to the next level. But what we did not anticipate is she being the major beneficiary of all this. Who, quien bono, right? Is that how you say that? Lawyer speak. Who benefited most? If this was a Dateline episode, Aaron Moriarty would have, but Erika, you've gained tens of millions of dollars since Charlie's death. You've been appointed to the White House since Charlie's death. Don't you think it's normal that people would ask the question because you've benefited so much from his death? This is wild. And you guys know what's the sick part about this is they know what people are thinking and talking about, and they are playing in our faces. They're saying, "Ha, na 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 boo boo. We can do whatever we want." Yeah, this girl has no qualifications. She has lied about her education. She has lied about her educational history, where she's lived. She is a psychopath. But you know what? She fits right in. They have, yes, Sarah, they have absolutely lost their ever-loving minds. I am shocked, Colleen. And do you know why I'm shocked? Because I thought that they respected the American people more. This is a slap in the face to the American people. They are saying, we will do whatever we want. We will appoint whoever we want. We are we do not care that this woman has no military experience, according to her. According to her, she's just this innocent, grieving widow. Now we know that potentially that's not the case, but it's a slap in the face. Let's continue reading. Charlie Kirk served proudly on the board, inspiring not only the next generation of service members, but millions around the world with his bold Christian faith, defense of truth, and deep love of country. Let me pause there. Charlie loved this country, so much so that he actually died for it. I am not convinced that his wife has the same love. I'm not convinced because she is letting that company run around and lie about their support, about Charlie's support of this war in Iran. She's Shabbat Shalom and everywhere. That was not the way that Charlie handled business, and certainly not towards the end of his life. So I'm not so sure I could say the same thing about her. Erika Kirk will continue his legacy and will be a fearless advocate for the most elite air power force in the history of the world, whose warriors keep our nation safe, strong, and free. The Air Force Academy did not immediately respond to a request for a comment as to when she was appointed. Erika Kirk is the right person to fill Charlie's place on the board and continue his work of inspiring the next generation of service members and advancing the Academy, August Pfluger, the board's chair, told NBC affiliate KOAA. I look forward to working alongside her to carry on Charlie's legacy, who said Pfluger, who noted that he recommended Erika Kirk's appointment months ago. I'm going to write down this name, you guys, because how much you want to bet family friend. Let me just write down this name. I'm sure Candace and Barron are already on this, but I'm going to find out myself. Okay, Trump, early in his second term, appointed a slew of allies to the board of visitors at the nation's military academies, including conservative media personalities. Charlie Kirk, co-founder of conservative group Turning Point USA, was appointed by Trump to the board of visitors in March 2025 and attended one meeting in August before his September 10th assassination. Okay, let's have a little chat about this. I mean, this is insane. This is insanity. This is insanity. Let me share. I'm going to switch screens here because I want to show you guys how X is reacting to this. I want to show you guys how the real world is reacting to this, because let them tell it. The world thinks it's a great idea. Let them tell it. The world thinks it's a great idea. We are all flabbergasted, beside ourselves, underneath. Can I tell you when I would find this to be appropriate? I want to share this with you because what I find interesting is that so we all know that Charlie Kirk has been, he was extremely knowledgeable on politics, world affairs, and extremely in touch with the American people and particularly the youth. He was in touch with what the base was actually feeling. He also spent months, weeks, days, years hosting a political talk show where he fielded controversial questions around politics. I have not once seen Erika Kirk answer a question about politics in a cohesive, coherent manner. So we can talk about how Charlie wasn't in government but you cannot argue with the fact that he was actually well read. I am not convinced that this person on our screen is well read. I'm not convinced. I don't believe that she has anything to offer this board except a pretty face and striking eyes. And it is with every fiber in my being, I am trying not to accuse her of something, but this reeks of beneficiary. This reeks of, this is what I was promised. We're going to put you in places of government because, you guys remember when Candace was like, whenever they take somebody out, they do these like massive, sort of actions of grandeur. It's kind of like when Kobe Bryant cheated on his wife and he bought her like a $40 million ring. This is what this reeks of. This reeks of we did something. We know we did something. Maybe you were part of it, maybe you weren't, but here's our sorry. Here's our apologies. Here are our apologies. Alexandra, I don't even think it's the optics. I don't think it's the optics. I think it's because he feels bad because he knew it was going to happen. I think I think it is a actions of grandeur to sort of cover up and say, I'm so sorry this happened, but now we're going to put you in the place where we promised you to be. Because to be honest, the optics are awful. They're horrible. I want you guys to see what people are saying. Nobody thinks this is a good idea. Nobody. Okay, let's scroll down. What possible value can she add to the USAFA, and why isn't she raising her young babies who lost their fathers? I don't want to sound like a hater or whatever, but based on family ties alone, I am more qualified than she is. Someone said, which beauty pageant did you win? This is a joke, and that's an AI pick, right? People cannot believe their eyes. Actually, hell was 4 years ago when there were literal men protecting women, pretending to be men in the military. So people are, comparing that. Her expert advice is essential, not so turning point. And here she is with Netanyahu's son. Introducing the Arizonian Israel Public Affairs Committee. Happy to welcome Yair Netanyahu. And that looks like 2019. Arizonian Israel Public Affairs Committee. Just absolutely diabolical. Yep. Yep, this was 2019. Nobody thinks this is a good idea. Nobody thinks this is a good idea. Someone goes, this is a nothing burger. This is a position Charlie had before 9/10. Trump is merely putting her in his spot. That's fine. But the question will and forever always will be, is she qualified? Nobody cares. Again, you guys, and I'm being in all sincerity, if she was on the Charlie Kirk show, like she was actually fielding questions daily, I would actually say this is fine. And I mean that from the bottom of my soul. I am not a hater. But because I have never seen her talk about anything political, she 100% is not qualified. She's not qualified. That is why she is not qualified, because I've never heard her talk about anything political with a coherent, cohesive sentence. And she is, yes, Tanya, she is definitely one of them, and all has been planned, and he was sacrificed for this. We will give you wealth and power. Just let us do what we need to do with him. I was actually planning on doing another live today. I was going to talk about the different sounds that people said they heard when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, but this popped up and I had to jump on here and talk about this, because I mean, again, it's not, she can't replace him because she doesn't have the intellectual depth to do so. Nothing about Erika Kirk is I shouldn't say that. That's really mean. Nothing about Erika Kirk screams politically savvy. Nothing about her. And with something like this just continues to prove how she has been one of them all along. She was on the Arizonian Israel Public Committee. She has been one of them all along. That's nothing against honest, true Jews. We're talking about the people, the government of Israel, not people who practice Judaism. Those are two different things. Those are two different things. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Do you guys think that she will run? This is what I want to know. Do you guys think that she will run for president? Because I do. I think she will run for president of the United States with Vance. And the reason why I think she will win is because they will rig the election. I think Baron Coleman was onto something. I think Baron Coleman was onto something. It is just I'm shocked. Anyway, I don't really have much else to say about this. It just to me confirms that like the more I watch her grow in power, in fame, in in prominence in government, the more I am convinced that she made a trade. The more I'm convinced that she made a trade. And there's really nothing else to say about this. So, yes, this is absolutely diabolical. No, she is not qualified. And I know this, okay, so the other side of this is I know this feels inconsequential, like, oh, it's just the Air Force Support Academy. But what they're doing is they're prepping us to say she has government experience. She did this with us. They're prepping us for that. They're priming us for her being in government positions because this is what they do. This is how this works. They don't just throw you into Congress. They go, okay, let's give her some experience. Let's make sure that she's visible. She has a good reputation with people. And then, in 2-3 years, they'll put her on the forefront and say she served on this committee and she served on that committee and so she's qualified. They're prepping us for 2028. And that's all I have to say about that. You guys let me know what you think when you guys are watching this replay back. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think this is a good idea? Do you think this is inconsequential? This is just sort of some, just a nice gesture on Trump's behalf? Do you think this proves anything? I want to know because I am deeply disturbed by this action by the president of the United States because not only because Charlie is dead, but also because he has also gone against every single thing that Charlie has ever fought for. And so it's not one thing, it's the combination. It's the lying about the degrees. It's the pretending that you are desolate when you have millions and millions of dollars in donations. It's the lying about, the sounds that were coming out of the gun. It's lying about what happened at the airport. Then on top of that, it's saying, oh, well, Charlie Kirk would have supported this war, even though we know he did. There's just lies on lies and lies and lies. And even if, and I'm going to say this, and then I got to get off here because I'll just keep talking. Even if they didn't have anything to do with Charlie's assassination, at the very least, they are complicit in covering it up. So let's just pretend for 2.5 minutes, okay? Let's pretend for 2.5 minutes that they didn't know, right? As soon as it happened, they got the call and they said, if you do not say these things, we will end your life as well. Oops, I don't know why this went to there. Let's say, oh, we will end your life as well. It's very possible that they were offered money after the fact. To me, that doesn't make them any better. It doesn't make them any better. Do you think I don't know what that word means actually. Shiving Candace? Who? Do you think who is? I don't know. I've never seen that word. No, I like that word. I'm gonna start using that. Do I think who is shiving Candace? No. No. I think this is deeper than that. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think Trump is even thinking about Candace. I think Trump is following orders, by the way. I think he's just following orders. Don't you find it odd that both Charlie and Candace ended up marrying a Catholic spouse? Many don't think about it, but if any has an understanding about the Jesuit agenda, they would. So I believe that Jesuits are different from Roman Catholics. And I also don't think now, do I think that Candace's husband is Catholic? Yes. I don't think that Erika Kirk has a religion. I don't. I made a video about this, how she like there was one point where she was like very anti-Catholic, and actually her Bible in 365 program is anti-Catholic. And then the only reason why she started going back to Catholic mass was because of Charlie. Like, I don't know, like I'm not really sure. I don't know that she has a solid religion. I don't think so. I can't put my finger on it. But I think that Candace's husband is Roman Catholic and not Jesuit. Um, because there is a difference. I actually went to Jesuit schools, but um, I do find it interesting that they both ended up. Okay, I'll tell you why I think they both ended up with Catholic spouses. Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk are both deeply passionate and orthodox individuals, if you will. And I could see why Charlie Kirk was turning away from Protestant churches because there's too much pomp and circumstance. It's too much rock star. And he craves sort of like strict, honest rules. And I think Candace does too. I think that's why they both got along. They got along so well, is because they're both very deeply convicted, strong sense of justice individuals. And those people tend to be very black and white. They like strong, hard lines. And sometimes Protestant churches, they're kind of all over the place. And so I think they both sort of leaned towards that naturally because that's in their nature. I think if churches, like Protestant churches, were more straightforward and operated more in an orthodox fashion, I think they would have both been Protestant, like, sort of lean towards that as well. But the problem is that particularly when you look at like the Rob McCoys, you look at this Lucas Miles guy, you look at James Cuddy's, all that hot foolery they got going on in those churches. It's like you're not even preaching out of the Bible at this point. You're teaching politics on Sunday. Like at some point, your body craves orthodoxy, and I think that's what happened to Charlie. Yes, I'm afraid for Candace also, and yes, Erika worships a darker entity. Now, do you remember in Candace's episode yesterday, she talked about how you can be a Mason and a Christian, you can be a Mason and a Catholic, because that's sort of just a cover up for your darker deeds and your darker desires. And so when it comes to someone like Erika Kirk, because my thing is like, how are you so easily like fluidly transitioning between religion, so to speak? Because yes, Catholic Christianity is a bit different than Protestant Christianity. So how are you, just sort of like fluidly moving between the two? Because it doesn't matter as long as you have a cover. As long as you have a cover for it, for what you're doing behind the doors, um, you know, then it's fine. Oh, I didn't know that Candace's husband went to a Jesuit university. The way that she described their Catholicism was as if it was Roman Catholicism, which is a bit different than like the Jesuits. But I let me double check that. Let me double check and make sure that I'm not wrong about that. But I thought she was in like the traditional Roman Catholic church. I believe Charlie was probably drawn to the Quaker religion too. I think so too. I think anything that was a little bit more strict, stringent, organized, focused, he would have been attracted to. I think Catholicism is the closest thing you're going to get to um, Protestant Christianity, and so I believe that was why. And of course, he liked, he did. I'm sure Charlie genuinely liked the architecture and genuinely liked the feeling of being in a church. I'm not even going to deny that. But yeah, I think that's why they both, to answer the question, I think that's why they both sort of lean towards that, because you're watching these Protestant churches turn into rock shows and political platforms. And I think he would be horrified with what Erika's doing with the Make Heaven Crowded tour, because it hasn't historically been just about, Christianity. It has been about politics. She got, Cedra and his wife to get on stage and talk about supporting, they're talking about Islam, but what they're doing in a roundabout way is supporting this war in Israel. Erika is Catholic. Okay, Jesuits is the secret army of the Catholic institution. This is not about the religion. This is about the underlying issue that is revealed in Bible prophecy. I don't know if Erika is Catholic. Like I said, I don't think she has a religion. But what I do know is that a lot of people use Catholicism to cover up their, whatever deeds they're doing. I do know that. And actually, a lot of people who are from our greatest ally would pretend to be Catholic because, they could hide behind that, I guess. But they wouldn't be able to pretend to be Protestant. But you know what, Tanya? I think time will tell. I think time will tell. I think we are getting very, very close to who she genuinely is, and time will tell what kind of human being she is and what she's thinking. Yes. So that's that on that. Erika Kirk has been appointed to government. She is now on the board of the Air Force Academy, and people have thoughts about it. Maybe I will do another video, like a live, tomorrow when I have more time. But as of right now, everything about this is positive. Like, no one has. Okay, this is the last thing I would say. I keep saying this is the last thing. The last thing I would say about this is just a cursory scrolling of the internet, you guys. There is not one negative article about her being appointed. Don't y'all find that strange? Don't you guys find that strange? Because typically when people are appointed to positions, the New York Times, what are the other newspapers that people, Fox News, CNN, they will write these articles and they're negative if they don't like the person. But everything is about, the slain activist, the widow of the slain activist, USA Today, Fox News. Oh, the slain activist. Don't you think that's weird? That all of a sudden they're all supporting her, although they hated her husband. Y'all don't find that to be strange? I find it to be absolutely wicked. Wicked. Okay, that's that. You guys enjoy the rest of the video. I will see you guys in the next one. Rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your day.